be loving you always with a love.
Hi, this is Charles Edwards, currently appearing at the SHN Golden Gate Theatre in San Francisco in Blithe Spirit with Angela Lansbury. I have some questions here, which I've been asked to answer, which I'm going to do right now. Here we go, here's the first question. What's been the best and/or funniest moment of the Blithe Spirit tour so far? I think the funniest moment occurred about 2 weeks ago, which was when we were in LA. We were in LA for 6 weeks at the Armandson. And these stories are not very funny when you tell them back because it's always hilarious at the time. It's kind of, you had to be there. But at the end of the first act, everything's kicking off. We're all running around in a panic. There's a ghost. My wife is going, "Oh my God, what are you talking to? I can't see anything." And then the curtain comes down. So the curtain didn't come down. The curtain came down to our knees and then went up again. So we were about two minutes before the end of the first act. So we stopped and there was nothing we could do. The audience were laughing. We turned to the audience and said, "Well, what would you like us to do? There's 2 more minutes, or you can go and have a drink now. It's up to you." Which they liked very much. They laughed a lot. Eventually we were told to continue, and we had a bit more chat with the audience, and then we finished the act, and that was the biggest laugh of the night, has to be said. Okay, the second question is, what is your favourite Noel Coward play, and why? I think my favourite Noel Coward play, well, I've done quite a few, but one I've never done is Present Laughter, which is, to me, the most interesting because it seems to be mostly autobiographical about him, and I think it's the most revealing play that he wrote about the kind of crowd that he hung with and the kind of life that he led as an actor and very well-known personality, the kind of juggling that he had to do in his life. I love Hay Fever and Private Lives and Blithe Spirit, but to me that is the most pertinent to him. To me it's the most revealing. If you could have a martini with Noel Coward, what would you ask him? I think I'd probably ask him how amazed he, or not, he would be to know how popular his plays still are. They're period plays. Ours is set in the late 1930s, which is, obviously everybody's in dinner jackets and evening gowns and stuff like that, but the themes are still so relevant. I mean, our play is about searching for the perfect relationship. Is it possible to have a sexually fulfilling relationship as well as a comfortable domestic life? Can those two ever be, can they ever exist together? His answer is probably not, but anyway, come and see the play and we'll help you decide that. Do you believe in spirits, mediums or ghosts? I do believe in ghosts. I think there has to be something in it. I've never been to a seance, but, sorry, that's my phone, or it might be yours. I've never been to a seance, but I'm very tempted by it and I'm intrigued by it. I think there has to be something beyond. If, like Madame Arcati, you could summon a spirit, who would it be? I think it would probably be both, if I'm allowed to, it would be both of my grandmothers. They died very close together when I was probably about 3 or 4. I have vague memories of them, but I would very much like to meet them and to show them what I'm doing now. Theatre, film or TV? Whatever's offered, I mean, it's offered. There's a sort of misconception that actors have this sort of choice of what they'd like to do next, or it's not always like that. Sometimes it is, but not for most of us. I will do whatever appeals. I love theatre, primarily. I suppose I do love theatre the most, if I'm honest, because of the immediacy of it and the way it can be different every night. You can screw something up one night, go back the next night and try something different. That's always nice. You don't get that opportunity really on a film or a TV set. Time is much shorter on a TV set, even though the waiting is much more considerable. There's a lot of sitting around, which can get quite tiring. But yeah, whatever. Whoever wants me, I'm available. Judi Dench or Maggie Smith? Well, I know Judi Dench better than I know Maggie Smith. I've done 2 plays with Judi Dench. One is a Noel Coward play, which was Hay Fever. She in the West End in London. She was Judith Bliss, and I was Sandy Tyrrell, who's like her sort of crazed fan who follows her down to her house in the country. And I also did Midsummer Night's Dream with her. She was Titania, and I was Oberon. And it was a kind of a version where she was basically playing Queen Elizabeth I, and I was the Earl of Essex, who was her sort of young lover. And that sort of, the thread of that ran through the play. Maggie Smith I know only from the Downton set, and my character visited the house rarely. My storyline was sort of all away from the house, so I didn't get to know Maggie terribly well, but I've met her obviously on set and on a thing we did at the National Theatre in London. So that's 2 dames, but there's a third dame who's remiss from this list, and that is Dame Angela Lansbury, who is currently appearing in Blithe Spirit at the SHN Golden Gate Theatre till the 1st of February. What's it been like working with Dame Angela Lansbury? Angela is extraordinary. She is, never mind her age, I mean she's in fantastic shape for 69, never mind 89. You know, she's extraordinarily energetic, alive, vibrant. Every night she goes out there and plays it anew. You know, she's often, you can, in a performance, particularly in a comedy, you can find yourself hanging your performance on certain points in the evening where you get a good laugh or a particular reaction or whatever, but she doesn't. She sort of does it new every night, which is one thing I've really learned from her, and she still has just as good a time. So it's been a real lesson for me to see her do that. And she never complains when we had 2 shows on Saturday and 2 shows on Sunday in LA, which was hard work. And she never said a word. What is the favourite of all the roles you played and why? That's a really difficult question. I think probably, I don't have a favourite, but one of the most memorable, I guess, was playing at the Globe, Shakespeare's Globe Theatre in London, which is a unique place in that it's the Globe that Shakespeare would have known. It's the only building in London that's allowed to have a thatched roof. And you are out there, you can see everybody's right in front of you. You can, in the evening, the sun goes down, it's a beautiful summer's evening, if it's not raining, of course. There are the planes to contend with, a lot of planes go over, and helicopters, particularly when someone's drowning in the Thames, a lot of helicopter action going on. But I played Benedict in Much Ado About Nothing there, and had a real sort of discovery in that I realised how much I love playing with an audience directly, and the joy of that role and that theatre is that you can communicate directly with an audience, and a soliloquy, a Shakespeare soliloquy, suddenly makes perfect sense because you are asking yourself questions, but you're also asking the audience questions, and to be able to actually look into people's eyes and communicate with them in that way, and that with total removal of the fourth wall, which I quite like. So that is probably the most memorable part I've played. The final question is, what the hell happened to Gregson? Gregson? I don't know any Gregson. Who's Gregson? I have no idea what that question means. So thank you very much for listening, and come and see the show.
Someday I'll find you again.